Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Tuesday, so we're bringing some new truth to you with my friend Amy Fulmer, the Grief Goddess. So you guys give us a like, share this video, and we'll be right back with Amy Fulmer here on the new normal. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining us. We missed you last week, but we know you had some family things going on. So thanks for jumping right back in and keeping us updated with all things Arizona and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to start with today?
Well, you guys, wow, there's so much for us to talk about. I'm just getting my thoughts together, but I had the show all prepared, Lisa. And then like 2 seconds ago, I got a short clip. I think it's Mayor de Blasio of New York City just came out on the Hill and made an announcement, which is a small video. And I want to start with that because it kind of took my breath away. I mean, listen, things are getting real. And if we can start with that, then we'll go from there.
This came out this morning. That where it's for all indoor, he's forcing all indoor dining, anything indoors.
Yeah. So take Lisa, the thing I want to impress upon you is his delivery, how draconian and how, in other words, the way he paints this is so not factual. It's such dangerous propaganda, the way he presents this. So I wanted you guys to hear this because this to me is so dangerous. This is frighteningly dangerous. It's not what he's saying, it's the way he's painting the information. I mean, I'm literally breathless after listening to this. So
here we go with some more fear porn in America.
A new approach, which we're calling the Key to NYC Pass. The key to New York City. When you hear those words, I want you to imagine the notion that because someone's vaccinated, they can do all the amazing things that are available in this city. This is a miraculous place, literally full of wonders. And if you're vaccinated, all that's going to open up to you. You'll have the key, you can open the door. But if you're unvaccinated, unfortunately, you will not be able to participate in many things. That's the point we're trying to get across. It's time for people to see vaccination as literally necessary to living a good and full and healthy life. The Key to NYC Pass will be a first-in-the-nation approach. It will require vaccination for workers and customers in indoor dining, in indoor fitness facilities, indoor entertainment facilities. This is going to be a requirement. The only way to patronize these establishments indoors will be if you're vaccinated, at least one dose. The same for folks in terms of work. They'll need at least one dose. This is crucial because we know that this will encourage a lot more vaccination. We've seen it already. We've seen the impact of the mandate we've put in place for city workers already starting to move people to vaccination. We've obviously seen the positive impact of incentive as well. The goal here is to convince everyone that this is the time. If we're going to stop the Delta variant, the time is now. And that means getting vaccinated right now. This new policy will be phased in over the coming weeks. So we've been working with the business community, getting input. We're going to do more over the next few weeks. The final details of the policy will be announced and implemented in the week of August 16th. So over the next couple of weeks, getting more feedback, finalizing the policy, publishing it, and beginning to implement it. We'll then spend most of the month educating people, going out to businesses, receiving calls from businesses, answering questions and concerns, making sure everyone understands the new approach. And then on September 13th, during that week, we'll begin inspections and enforcement. So we want to give businesses, big and small, a chance to get acclimated. We want to make adjustments based on their input, but this will move forward starting in the week of August 16th And then full enforcement and inspection begins the week of September 13th, which is very pertinent because that's the first full week after Labor Day when we really expect a lot more activity in this city. Now, I'll tell you, we know those conversations with the business community are crucial. We've had a lot of them already. What we're hearing from so many folks in the business community is they understand it's time, but they need government to lead. That's going to help them to do what they need to do. Not everyone's going to agree with this. I understand that. But for so many people, this is going to be the life-saving act that we're putting a mandate in place. It's going to guarantee a much higher level of vaccination in this city. And that is the key to protecting people and the key to our recovery. That's why it's the key to NYC. The key to NYC Pass opens a lot of doors, and we need it. We'll be issuing a mayoral executive order and a health commissioner's order. Those are the legal tools necessary to implement this approach. And we know that this is what's going to turn the tide. And we also know that people are going to get a really clear message. If you want to participate in our society fully, you got to get vaccinated. You got to get vaccinated. It's time. All the answers, all the information's out there. You've seen over 160 million Americans get vaccinated safely. You've seen it make the difference. The only reason we're having the recovery is vaccination. So it's time. And this is going to send that message clearly. And the key to NYC Pass, this is an easy approach because to confirm vaccination, all you need is your vaccination card or the NYC COVID Safe app or the Excelsior app from the state. Any of those will do. So it's simple. Just show it and you're in. Everyone this summer already has been amazing in the city and a lot more to come. This approach is going to make clear. You want to enjoy everything great in this summer of New York City? Go get vaccinated. It will do for you so many things. It will make your life better. It will make all our lives better. So
nothing about this makes any sense. His statement is that we need to get the prick to stop the Delta variant. The prick was developed supposedly to stop the original health issue. And then there is this supposed alternate variant that developed afterward, which actually is showing up in people receiving the prick. So
Right.
do your own critical thinking on that one. Getting any prick will not stop a variant of, none of this makes any sense. And the other thing, as a mother of two medically fragile children, getting a passport because you only received one dose, you're, even with things that are actual vaccines, you wouldn't be fully immunized, supported without receiving your full dosage treatment. So by receiving only one dose, you get your passport. That doesn't make any sense either.
Oh, Lisa, this is so frightening. I mean, I'm literally, I'm breathless. First of all, there's so much here to unpack in this. The subliminal message is that you won't be able to live a full life. And yeah, exactly, Tom, he's the prick. Thank you. But the implication is if you don't get the vax, then you can't participate in life. Number two, none of the science behind this prick justifies his false statements about the health aspect of it. He's wrong. This is not even FDA approved. Yesterday, Johnson & Johnson, Lisa, they stopped their clinical trials. They suspended them.
In France, the hospitals have stopped administering the prick at all.
Right. And can you say graphene oxide?
Probably not, but
yeah. I guess what I'm here to say that I can say on this show is I have this whole show prepared. This kind of says it all. They are telegraphing to us right now what they're going to do. Okay. Now, you guys, I am so committed to not folding under this fear porn. But here's the deal. In my life, when I kind of buried my head in the sand and I pretended like I didn't see the train coming down the tracks, I can't change it. This is the mindset I've had in my past. I can't change it. There's nothing I could do. I'm just going to be happy. I don't really need to participate in this. It doesn't involve me. What I'm here to tell you guys now is with where the world is going between the economy, our medical situation, the infection situation, and the loss of our freedoms, the only way to survive this is going to be through education. But here's the deal. There's no truth out there anymore. They don't want us to know anything. What I got from this, there's no mistake, Lisa. Did you notice the timing on this? August, September? Oh, gee.
Yeah.
When we get to Arizona, the results.
When all of that is coming out. Yeah.
Look here. Don't look there. They do not want us focused on the truth of this election.
Which they've done that over time and time again. Because it's like, if it's such an issue, why wait? If the house is on fire, get out. No, August 16th, which we know what's coming out around the 15th.
Right.
And then September 13th. I mean, it's so obvious. It's kind of laughable, except that it's our nation at stake. So,
yes.
And that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing this and bringing this information out. So,
yeah. So the idea, guys, is this is a very, very difficult time. Lisa, your tribe who watches this show gets it and is awake. At this point, I think the commitment that I have to this show is getting out what little truth I can find. And to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not even sure that I have any truth left. I mean, I've scoured, like I tell you, it's getting leaner and leaner. But this is what I can tell you about Maricopa County. At this point, I would take a bullet betting on, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was fraud. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that T1 Maricopa County. I know for a fact that they, which also includes rhinos, okay, so it's not a Republican Democrat thing at this point. Let's just say, for the sake of this show, the good guys and the bad guys, okay, because that makes it easier, because there's both on both sides. I will promise you, the bad guys right now are panicking. Well, they are in full.
I sent you this article. You know that when they're doing things like this and refusing to comply with a state subpoena, I mean, that's incredible to me.
Well, absolutely. So just so you guys know, just to recap for those of you that have been maybe not following the whole story for the past couple of months that are watching, and Lisa, I've got, if you want to move to the letter from Jack Sellers.
Okay.
See, they meaning the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors had months to provide the routers and the passwords to finish the audit. Excellent. We're going to go over this because this is unbelievable. But what happened was, Karen Fan came out when the audit started and said there was going to be two parts to the audit. A preliminary report, which was going to basically said T had this many votes, B had this many votes, and then the full release of the forensic audit. Well, they couldn't compile the full forensic audit because the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors wouldn't give all the information. They went back to court months ago and got a subpoena to get that information. They knew for months that information was under court order to be given over for the audit. They failed to comply as of Monday. They're back in court today, Lisa, and they filed a new subpoena. What Karen Fan is doing now, you guys, is she is compiling a letter perfect case to go to the Supreme Court because that's what's going to happen. The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is going to fight this. The bad guys are going to fight this tooth and nail because this is the tip of the iceberg. If this gets out, every other state is going to follow suit, and it's going to bring down their whole story. This is going to be like a nuclear bomb went off. It's going to blow their cover. It's going to blow the agenda. They cannot have this audit results come out as truthful. So what happened was, after they refused, the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors refused to comply yesterday. Jack Sellers, who's the Maricopa County chairman, he's fighting this thing. Okay, so it's the Board of Supervisors against the people and the Senate. He wrote this letter to the senators. And Lisa, if you can, I just lost you, sweetie, on this. Can you open that and read it? If you can read it, I can't read it again. I might.
Let me see if I can read it.
I might actually vomit if I read it again.
Okay. It says, Dear Senators, it is now August of 2021. The election of November 2020 is over. If you haven't figured out the election in Maricopa County was free, fair, and accurate yet, I'm not sure you ever will. The reason you haven't finished your audit is because you hired people who have no experience and little understanding of how professional elections are run. The board has real work to do and little time to entertain this adventure in Never Never Land. Please finish whatever it is that you're doing and release whatever it is that you're going to release. I'm confident that our staff and volunteers ran the election as prescribed by federal and state law. There was no F word, and there wasn't there was no F word, and there wasn't an injection of ballots from Asia, nor was there a satellite that beamed votes up in our election equipment. It's time for all elected officials to tell the truth and stop encouraging conspiracies. Release your report. Be prepared to defend any accusations and misdeeds in court. It's time to move on. Sincerely, Jack Sellers, Chairman, Maricopa County Board of Supervisors.
Okay, let me break this down so you guys know the truth of what happened. The truth of the matter is almost half the voters of Arizona want this recount. Okay, that's the fact. They have polls on that. Number two, there was an 1.5 to 2 hour hearing that went like a line by line audit 2 weeks ago about the results of the audit, a current status. There were so many facts in this audit that pointed to fraud. You could not deny it. Okay. So by him basically dismissing this audit as a conspiracy theory, it's actually hurting the people of Arizona. Half want this, half feel that there's a rat in the woodpile. Now, Lisa, you sent me a map on Twitter. I don't know if you can pull it up. It's called the fraud or the fraud map. And remember, I sent it to you. I said it might be a good thumbnail picture. And it was the state by state who thinks that the elections are fraud. And they did it in color. So basically, any politicians that's saying, oh, this is conspiracy, this is a waste of time, it means nothing. This map proves them wrong. They've polled people. And almost half of America right now feels that there was massive fraud in this election.
And I sent it to you via Twitter. I send you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you did. And I sent it back to you and said, oh, this might make a good thumbnail. But basically, you guys, it was a map of the United States in color. And where they put the red was with the areas that they feel that they polled people who said they think there was fraud. Arizona was partially red. California was practically all red. Up and down the East Coast, these are all the states where B1, the people are saying, we think there's fraud. They're demanding a recount. So what is happening now in Arizona, according to my notes, let me check this off.
Was this like recently?
Don't worry about it.
I send you way too much stuff on.
I know. Don't worry about it. If it's important, I'll email it to you.
Okay.
What I want to catch you guys up on is where we're at today in Arizona. What I'm a little concerned about is Karen Fan said they were going to release the preliminary results. I felt that that was going to come. I mean, it's been over a month now. They've done 3 recounts of the physical paper ballots. They want to make sure they have nothing left to error. I wonder why she's not coming out with the results of the basic results, which is X amount of votes for T, X amount of votes for B. Right. I'm a little disappointed, but this is what my thoughts are. And then Lisa, you tell me what your thoughts are. I think that behind the scenes, there is a shit show that would blow all of our minds. I think you've got the men in the black suits showing up to threaten people. I think you've got every single Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and people like this Jack Sellers that have had big checks written to them to not support this audit, to discredit cyber ninjas and the process. When you watch the audit, you can have 0 audit experience on any level and know what you're seeing is detailed and accurate. There is no way to discount this audit process, 0. So what I think is happening is behind the scenes, this has caused so much mayhem. This fight is so real because the dark knows they're going down. They know they're going down. They're losing on multiple fronts. They've got to have a big win. And the prick is a big push right now, because if they don't get a big win in the bag now, they're going to lose ground and they may not get it back. Because when the results come out, which they're going to come out right about the time that de Blasio is going to start this passport to New York. Did you notice that he was glamorizing it? Like, if you don't get this, then you don't count. You're not glamorous. You can't enjoy all of what New York has to offer. What? Rats all over the place, liberals all over the place, and having to take a death jab to go and get a hot dog. Are you kidding me? I mean, Lisa, am I seeing this wrong? What do you think?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's also because when you brought up, like, why can't she say this many votes for T and this many votes for B? Because it's not that simple. Because those weren't the only options. It was, remember that there was a calculation or an algorithm involved, and it was like every T vote, the calculation or algorithm was, and because so many people actually showed up for T, it caused the algorithm to break. And so that's why they ended up having 125% of voter turnout in some of these counties or precincts.
Right.
And so they can't say so many, because it's like 0.03 of a person voted for B.
Yeah.
The numbers, you know what I'm saying?
The math isn't working. The math
is not working because it was all these algorithms involved. That's why I think they can't say that too, is because they have to tell the whole story. They can't, without telling the whole story, you can't do just part of it. It won't make sense. And then you expose your hand before you're in front of a judge in an appropriate court of law, and then they can build their case against, they can start telling their story,
right?
Build an excuse or a case for it. That's
right.
what I think.
Right. I also feel that before we were this far along in the process, when Karen Fan came out and said, listen, we're going to release the findings in two segments. One is going to be the preliminary report. And then, mid-August, when we have the full forensic audit complete, then we're going to release the results of that. Well, I think there's no mistake that Maricopa County was in complete defiance of a court order. Okay. Complete defiance. There's a reason they were holding back on that. They knew that if they gave that router and password, that the evidence of it being incriminatory would come out so much sooner, and that they're stalling because they want I don't know if I can say this word, like when they keep us in our houses, like when everything gets shut down because of this second variant. Okay. They want the release of that information. This is just my theory, to coincide with that, because then people will be so freaked out because of the having to stay in their houses like before, that they're not going to care about what happened in Maricopa County. Their eyes won't be there. Look here, don't look there.
Right.
That's what this is about. And that's, I think, why they're in total defiance of the court order, because if that information was given, then the results of the forensic audit would almost be done by now. Karen Fann will not take her hands off of this until everything is ready for the Supreme Court. It might have to go to the National Supreme Court. It depends on who's going to get paid off and who's going to die. Because I'm here to tell you guys, behind the scenes, it's not pretty. This is not pretty. And Wendy Rogers, who's a state senator, she's out there tweeting. I follow her, and she is a patriot. She also was in the military as I think a fighter pilot, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys want to follow someone really interesting who's fighting for our freedoms in America, it's her. And I do believe she was at the Trump rally last weekend, and there was pictures of her with Trump. So she calls a spade on Twitter with all these people. Now, Lisa, there's an article from Yahoo. If you can pull that up, because you guys might be saying right now, well, why isn't anybody going to jail? I mean, what's happening here? And there's some reference in this article, Lisa, that talks about why arrests have not happened yet on behalf of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, because they have enough information right now that they can take them down. So let me see.
Which one? The Arizona senators, or the "Don't look here, look there"?
This was the. Let me check this out.
Sorry.
It's okay. Maricopa County tells Arizona senators. Yeah, that one right there.
The Yahoo one. Okay.
Yeah, this is the Yahoo one. Okay, here we go. You guys, this is, you might say, well, okay, so all this malfeasance is taking place. Why aren't they just arresting people right now for not turning over the routers, for being in defiance of a court order? I want heads to roll. So this is a great article. It's long, but I'm just going to cut to the punch on this. This goes and recaps the whole thing really beautifully. But towards the end of the article, what I found very, very interesting was that it says that the Senate president threatened to hold members of the Board of Supervisors in contempt for refusing to comply with a subpoena on Monday. This is where it gets interesting. However, such recourse is likely given that at least 2 of the 16 Republicans in the chamber, this is at the state level, who have a narrow majority, have recently voiced negative opinions about the audit. Let's stop right there. Maybe they got a check. I mean, why would they be pro-audit or a threat? Why would they be pro-audit before? Then Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates, not that Bill Gates, not that Bill Gates.
What an unfortunate.
I was going to say, I feel so sorry for this guy. Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates reportedly claimed that Karen Fann, did not have the votes to hold the board in contempt, according to a Monday report for the Arizona Mirror. That was yesterday. The state previously considered holding members of the County Board of Supervisors in contempt in last February, over election-related materials. The effort was defeated by 1 vote, when Republican Senator Paul Boyer broke ranks and joined Democrats in opposing it. The move could have landed county officials behind bars. Okay? So you guys can see how this fight is so real. And I'm telling you, first of all, I love these names because when I vote here in Arizona, every single one of these people I'm not voting for. Okay?
Well, and like you've said, and we've pointed out here, this is not a Democrat Republican thing. And
Nope.
this is why it's so important to know who these people are in your local area, get educated, understand what their votes are and what decisions they're making on your behalf in your area. So,
I mean, to me, this is so important because this guy, Senator Paul Boyer, switched sides in midstream, and his vote was the vote that determined whether the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, which is clearly in contempt of court, clearly not acting on behalf of the Arizona people, lying in letters, and doing the public a great disservice by not having a transparent vote. All those guys would have been, if they wouldn't have been behind bars, they would have been removed from office. And that's exactly what should have happened. So we can see this is really, it's really like, it goes one way, it goes another, but it really comes down to a very small splitting hairs. Now here, just to remind you guys, it says President Joe Biden won Arizona, and it's 11 electoral votes by more than 10,000 votes out of the 3.3 million across the state. His lead of roughly 2 percentage points was due partially to his advantage in Maricopa County, where the Democrats scored nearly 45,000 more votes than Trump among the 2.1 million ballots cast. Okay, that's what they say. Of course, we know he didn't win Maricopa
so here's
County.
the other thing. Part of that is these people that won some of these counties and now are fighting to protect this outcome, are protecting to fight their seats that were won. So it like
Exactly, Lisa.
benefits them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pay to play.
Yes,
Yeah.
pay to play. Now, here's just a few more data points about how this is wrapping up. The audit has been heavily criticized by Maricopa County officials. Democrat Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs, we all know about Katie, I've been reporting on her, and even some Arizona Senate Republicans over concern of cyber ninjas lacking audit experience. They do not lack audit experience. If you go to their website, unless they've changed it or taken it down or someone scrubbed it, they have audit experience. This is what they do. They are an IT security company and they audit secure systems. This is what they do for a living. Okay. So that's not actually truthful. They don't really have, they put it out there like it's fact, but that fact can be heavily debated in the IT world. Maricopa County officials announced in late June that voting machines subpoenaed by the audit would be removed from service after Hobb threatened to decertify the equipment, citing concerns with the methods of cyber ninjas. The U.S., now this part here, you guys, this is a little discerning. The U.S. Justice Department also signaled it may take action against the audit. The DOJ is now stepping in and saying, you know, we may not allow this to go down. This all stinks to the high heavens. If everything is so truthful, why would the DOJ step in? I mean, if B truly won, why would the DOJ get involved? I mean, it just makes sense.
And why get involved for someone just asking, can we look at it?
Exactly.
They're just asking to count it again.
Exactly. The harder they fight, the more the truth is revealed. And people are not stupid. That's why I'm doing this show, because you cannot get a counter argument. We're like we saw with de Blasio, we saw one side of the vax story, but that's not the whole story. In our society now, we're so completely off balance. And this is what's got us literally, we're off balance. Like I am literally off balance because we're hearing just one side of this very sick, twisted story. And there's no counterbalance. So people can say, well, wait a minute, I heard this. Now I've heard this. This is what I think. So that's why I'm so passionate about doing this work with Lisa. I always hope and pray that one of these videos, Lisa, I know your audience is so smart and they're out in front of the curve. I know that, but I always hope that it lands in one person's inbox that is not awake and maybe will start to think and question the narrative. Here it says, just to wrap up this article, then we'll move on. After the courts rejected several lawsuits challenging the 2020 results in Arizona and other states Trump lost, the former president and his allies have turned their attention to the GOP-led Arizona state audit in Maricopa County, touting it as an inspection that could support their claims of widespread fraud or irregularities. Still, Fan has stressed the audit is not about overturning the 2020 election, but rather making legislation to improve the operations and security of voting contests. The Washington Examiner contacted Arizona State on Monday, but did not immediately receive a response. So this was on Yahoo. I like it because it kind of recaps and goes through the whole story. And fills in some kind of like where we were and what's going and what the basic narratives is right now. Now, Lisa, I also sent you a tweet and it says, look here, tweet.
Okay. I've got that one too.
And then we'll wrap up and we'll move on to the other topics that I want to, but this is the thick of everything. Okay. This is really, really interesting because, thank you, Lisa, that's great. This is from the LA Times. Now, of course, bear in mind, the LA Times is a communist crime scene of I'm not even going to call it a news. It's not even a news source. It's just published propaganda. Yeah. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. What's interesting is this was printed in the Des Moines Register, but it was taken out from the LA Times. Here it's already starting. See the headlines, the D variant could affect the 2020 midterm elections. The propaganda starting. This is why it's so important, you guys, that you stay clear on your path of what you will take and what you won't take. They are now starting the narrative that if you're not vaccinated, you're not going to be able to vote. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. They're going to make this all about the variant of the infection. And oh, by the way, just so you know, I did a little dive with some medical professionals that I know, and I can't say the word, epidemiologists, people who study infectious disease. Variants, just so you guys know, they're twice as weak as the original. That's why, like, if you have any kind of like a herpes outbreak, the first outbreak is always the worst. And then subsequent outbreaks, whether it's cold sores on your lips or other parts of your body, the second and third outbreaks are always much less. It's always the original viral outbreak that is the most intense. This D version is a variant. So the good news is, for those of you that are concerned, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just what I've been able to find out. And it kind of makes sense to everything I've learned about viruses. This is a variant. So it's like half as weak. It's been watered down. The other thing that de Blasio does not bring up is herd immunity. Herd immunity is kicking in.
I had heard that the CDC actually rewrote the definition of that.
Yeah, they did.
And I've got it on Twitter somewhere and they took out, I can't remember the specifics. I'll try to find it, but
right. Yeah. And they also change their website statistics every 30 seconds. It's this, then it's that. And if you go back day after day, they pull numbers down. I mean, you got to understand, we are dealing, guys, just so you know, just to sum it up, medical data fraud at its finest. The financial system is racked with fraud. Everything from the unemployment. Yes, Phil. Well, facts are there's almost no death rates at this point. I mean, people die every day, guys. Face it. No one knows that more than Lisa and I. Okay? You're talking about to two women who have had their lives rearranged by death. No one knows it more than us. But guess what? We come in this world and we go out.
Right.
But our souls live on eternally. And that's a fact. Whether you believe it or not, you're going to find out when you pass out of this world. So it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Because you'll find out anyway. So you don't need to be afraid of death anyway, because the truth of the matter is we're all going to die.
Get to experience it, yeah.
But the medical professionals that I've spoken to that work in ER rooms and stuff like that, like as of late, have said, we're not getting any CV people. We don't have infection people. We just get the basic car accidents, cancer people, heart attack people, things, overdose people, but we're not getting the infection people. They're like not coming in. So like, what's the big deal? So the medical data fraud is real, you guys. The most important thing that when you're talking about living your life moving forward, we have to understand there's no more balance in our world. And we've got to rebalance ourselves with understanding we're only being shown one side of the picture. And that side has a very dark, nefarious agenda. That has been years in the planning by some very, very powerful people who are not going to let go very easily without a fight. And I think the tip of the fight is this Maricopa County. I think this is a real linchpin in the whole system coming down.
Well, and also this midterm election, because, they're terrified. They were on the trying to pass a thing, we looked up, is it possible that if Republicans are to gain control of the House, could they elect Mr. T as Speaker of the House? And it is a possibility. They can nominate anyone they want to be Speaker of the House.
Okay.
It does not have to be somebody that's a House member. It doesn't have to be. And so they're terrified. They're actually trying to pass a law that he specifically, and that's why they keep going after him about his taxes. Then we all saw where actually the state of Illinois owes him $1 million.
Yeah, I know.
And then what's her name? Fox is trying to block them paying him the $1 million that they owe him. That was all hilarious, I thought. And so they are scared, and all of this is timing. And this D is showing up right around the midterm elections because they want to have control. And like Dave had, or Empire Builder had mentioned, that's to control that narrative and be able to have more mail-in ballots again and be able to control that voting because they're scared to death.
They are scared to death. They're absolutely scared to death. But on some good news, you guys, as we get down to the end, I always like to leave. I try to leave with
something positive.
I know, right? Okay. One last thing before we get to the positive part. Lowe's fires employee. Can you pull that? I think that's a tweet. I just want to address this real quick. For those of you that shop at Lowe's, you may want to I don't know if you feel like committed to supporting companies that fire employees because they won't get vaccinated. But in this tweet, let's see. Lowe's fire.
I have the link, but I'm just is here. Where is it? Which part is it? This is the link.
Oh, here we go. Let me go down. Wait a minute. Go back. Wait a minute. No, Lisa, actually go back to the top. Then you've got to click on today. This was tweeted by a guy called Wake Up. He says, today I was fired for not masking per new company policy. Can anyone help me fight back? I'm in Arizona and a follow review. I clicked on this because I wanted to find out
Okay.
who this guy was. And somebody said, what company? And he said Lowe's. And so all these people are chiming in here. Look, this is really interesting.
I don't see
Feed.
where he says Lowe's, but I believe you. But I'm
Yeah, it's
trying to find
Lowe's
where
for
he says
sure. I
Lowe's.
think it was somebody
Okay.
up at the top. Lowe's right there, Lisa. Stop. Go down.
Oh,
Wait,
here he is.
Lowe's. He writes right there. So a lot of people in this sees the tweet above says what company, and he says Lowe's.
Okay.
I have to really say that a lot of people have said, well, I'm not shopping at Lowe's anymore. You can go into Lowe's. I was in Lowe's last week with Greg.
Yeah, we were just there yesterday and there wasn't
They
any,
don't,
but
they
we
don't-
have, like in Oklahoma, our governor banned masking and mandatory vaccines in any state. But private people, under the Constitution, private companies and individuals can, that is constitutional. They can ask you to whatever because it is their private business. So Lowe's
correct.
could make that choice, you know.
Correct.
But then you can, as an individual, can make your choice. Under your
Right. So
freedom.
what we're going to start to see is more and more pressure. Like I also read that the Soul Cycle, the gym Soul Cycle, and Equinox, you guys, is now saying you can't be a member if you don't get vaccinated. Those are huge nationally branded franchises. You can't go to that gym unless you've had the jab, this Soul Cycle and Equinox. So the push is real, it's coming, and everyone's going to have to suffer some of their, we're going to pick our choices. I know what side I sit on, but I wanted to show you that because I want you to have a lot of compassion right now for people in your life that are put in a position. I know a good friend of mine, she just lost a nanny job because she wouldn't vaccinate. Okay. And she called me. She was distressed. What should I do? And for her, she feels the same way I feel. It's non-negotiable. So she left a very good paying nanny job.
Right.
And she's not sure that she's going to be able to get a nanny job because the nanny industry wants jabbed nannies. So yes. And that's so funny that you should.
Our next one.
That's our next one.
Okay.
Yes, and that is like almost like a psychic hit right there because that was the next one I was going to go to. Anti-vax legal talk, and this is compliments of Cliff High. And I want you guys to see this because you may want to recommend this to someone who is really, I don't know if it's going to help, but I think we need every single, here we go. We need every single ounce of arsenal. When they demand that you get vax, simply reply, I hereby claim religious exemption. Then tell them, if you insist on firing me, we can take this to the court where you will not win. Then try to relax. So far, no one is being fired. You will get unemployment for duration. So I do know that originally in the Constitution, religious freedom and your religious right trumps medical mandates. I know that because my grandmother was a Christian Scientist, so she didn't ever in her lifetime take any medication. And I grew up with her. So I understood that how she navigated like having my mom without medication, and it was part of her religion. So they didn't push her.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say there's laws or anything. So I think we need to start to go back to some of these basics. And I was very happy to see Cliff post that because he always knows what he's talking about. And I think it's a nice thing to have in our hip pocket. I think that was really important. I think there's going to be a little
kicked off Twitch.
Oh, you did?
Oh, maybe I'm back on. No. It says I'm live again. Maybe not. Okay. It just was a glitch on Twitch.
A glitch on Twitch.
I'm going to go really quick and jump over to pilled.net because we have, what is it doing? It's jumping around. I think it's all weird. I think we're still broadcasting on everything, but it's like.
Yeah, well.
Very weird.
Right. Well,
okay, I'm going to jump over to Pilled really quick. And if you guys are watching on Pilled, I'm going to release the lotto ticket. And also there's a scratch off ticket so you guys can get your gold pills for watching. Thank you so much. please leave a comment and share the video. And make sure you go watch Robert Beadles and Methods, my buddies over on pill.net.
And Lisa, before you jump over, the good news was Kamala Harris is the least popular vice president in modern day history. That's what I wanted to leave you guys with. People are very concerned about her being in the president's seat. If something were to happen, someone got medicaled out. She is not popular. The least, she's the most unpopular VP in modern history. So I'm going to leave you guys with that.
And we don't have to worry about that anyway, even if something happens to, which the whole drama that we're in, because she's not eligible as she is an anchor baby. Her parents were here on student visas when she was born, so she's not eligible for a position to take over the throne. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about any of that. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to have a special show with Satoshi Sean, and we're going to see if Amy's able to join us. I'm going to talk to her off camera now that I put her on the spot on camera. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining us, and always having great truth bombs dropped with Amy. You guys can find a link to her website as well as an Amazon link in the description for her book, Don't Trip Potato Chip. If you are struggling or know anybody that is struggling with grief, that is some great information. And you can also go to her website and click on some free information and links for emergency help as well. So everybody have a great day, and keep up the faith. We're not giving up. We're not giving up on our country and freedom and our Constitution. So see you guys soon. Take care.